Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we will be talking about the match between Barcelona and Villarreal, which will be at the Camp Nou. This will be the first match that will be considered as the first competitive match under the great Ronald Koeman. And so what we are going to do in this video is we are going to have a deep tactical analysis on how Barcelona could beat a team like Villarreal. And so I do expect to see Koeman use the 4-2-3-1 formation. I do expect to see Koeman's best starting 11 possible, and I honestly do expect to see this starting 11 to be tweaked maybe later in about 2 or 3 weeks once this transfer window does close, because right now when this match is being played, the transfer window is going to continue to be open, which means that we can still do transfers. So even if we do have the best starting 11 possible in this match, I do expect it to be slightly tweaked. But at the same time, we're also going to see like around 80% of the starting 11 already here. So look, Barcelona right now is one of the last teams to play their first match in La Liga. There's been many other Spanish teams who have already played their first 2 games within this league. So because this is going to be a tactical video, the way that I'm going to separate this and organize this video is that I am first going to be talking about Villarreal and what are their weaknesses and what have they been doing so far in the league. Then in the second half, I'm going to be talking about Barcelona and how Barcelona should react towards Villarreal's weaknesses and how Barcelona can attack those weaknesses and win this match. So starting with Villarreal, unlike Barcelona, this has been a team who has already played their first 2 matches in La Liga. They have tied against Huesca 1-1 and beat EIBAR 2-1. Now, the one thing that I really do want to point out about Villarreal right now is that one of their greatest weaknesses is their defensive duels. And if we look at how much unsuccessful duels Villarreal did have against Huesca, you can see where the weaknesses does lie, and that is on the right flank and on the left flank. Their weaknesses is on the wings. And most importantly, I really want you guys to pay attention to the right side of this team and look at number 20 and how he fails and continues to fail in the same area. And the number 20 of this team is named Ruben Peña. This is a player who has constantly been committing so many mistakes as the right back. This image is also telling us that they're very well covered in the middle, and so just watching this alone really tells us so much on the areas that Barcelona could attack. Now, if we look at the unsuccessful defensive duels that Villarreal did have against EIBAR, which was their second match and where they also won 2-1, you can see the exact same pattern. The same problem continues to happen to them. But this time, if we look on the right side, you can see that number 20 is not there at all. The number that we do see is number 2, and he continues to fail in the same area, and his name is Mario Gasper. So what does this tell us? This tells us one thing: Villarreal are testing 2 right backs. They are very uncertain on who's going to be the one that's going to be playing consistently throughout the season, and most importantly, these 2 right backs, seeing the mistakes that they do commit on that right side, these 2 right backs are not on form. And again, this is telling us so much already on where Barcelona could be successful at. And again, I'm going to go through that later in this video. And the other weakness that I have seen from Villarreal is that there is a player named Raúl Alboyol. And one of the main reasons why that team, Villarreal, did get scored on in that match is because of his mistake in this game. And looking at the goal that they have conceded, you can tell that Raúl is not a defender that adapts extremely well when it comes to a player trying to break the lines with a certain pass. Raúl does take time to adjust to those quick passes, and again, that is something that Barcelona can be analyzing, because we do have players who can do those passes that break through the lines and score those goals. Now, just a side note, Raúl is a defender who's 35 years old. Right now, he's currently injured with a broken nose, so even if he doesn't play, I think that this will be a great note to look at in order to increase our chances on scoring goals. So here's the final conclusion with this final version of Villarreal, and that is that in their wings, which is the right back and left back area, that is where they do take the losses the most. Their defensive duels is not the best, and I believe that that is where Barcelona can turn that into their advantage. The second thing is that one of their players right now, when it comes to the center back position, if they do decide to attack through the middle, would be to go through Raúl Alboyol, and that is the conclusion on the wings and through the middle to a certain player. Now we're going to be talking about Barcelona. What does Barcelona need to do now that we have analyzed Villarreal's weaknesses? What does Barcelona need to do next? And it's very simple. Barcelona need to attack through the wings. That is where they can create the most chances. That is where the goals can come from if Barcelona decide to go through there. And one of the best ways to attack those weaknesses and really punish the left back and the right back especially would be to use players like Ansu Fati or Dembele. These are 2 players who coincidentally are coming back from injury, one from a long term, one from a short term. And these are two players who do have a point to prove throughout this whole season. And I think that the best way to make that first big statement would be against Villarreal. And seeing how Ansu Fati and Dembele are extremely good at taking on players, I think that if they continue to create those chances, they can either create a chance for themselves to either do a cross or a shot. And I think that that would be key in this game. And as for the center back of Villarreal, which is Raul, I think that it is safe to say that Barcelona do have the players to provide those through passes to break through the lines. And so again, this is something very simple. Messi can do that, Coutinho can do that, and hopefully we might potentially see Riqui Puig provide those type of qualities on the field. This is exactly why we need players like Riqui Puig, because there are going to be occasions where the opposition's weaknesses would be what Riqui Puig can provide on the field. And so let's shift towards the defensive part when it comes to Barcelona, right? Villarreal is a team where we commonly do see their formation structured in a 4-4-2, and they have been showing that in the past two games. And if we look at the average position of Villarreal, we can see that they do not press so high. Their back line does not go forward too much because they are very well aware that if they do, their center backs are not prepared enough to make those runs if they do leave a lot of space behind. And so because Villarreal is going to be a team that are going to be sitting back, the only two players that can do damage on their part would be Beko and Moreno. Moreno is an attacker who currently does have 2 goals so far in this league season. And I think that if Koeman does see this, and he sees how lethal and how dangerous Moreno and Beko could be together, I do expect Koeman to use his most experienced defensive line, which is going to lead me to our predicted lineup. And so here's the lineup that I have chose for tomorrow's match. I do expect to see Neto in goal. Keep in mind, Ter Stegen is currently injured and is not expected to be back until at least November 2020. Our defensive line is going to be Jordi Alba on the left, Lenglet in the middle, Piquet in the middle, and Sergio Roberto on the right. As discussed, I do expect Koeman to use a very experienced defensive line because Villarreal does have potential to do damage. And I know that it sucks to see this defensive line. I know that this is almost the exact same starting defensive line that did play against Bayern Munich, but this is where we're at the moment. This is why I said in the beginning of the video that our starting 11 could be slightly tweaked, hopefully by next week once we do complete our own operations. And you guys know the players that I am talking about. But besides that, again, with this 4-2-3-1 and a double pivot in the middle, I do expect to see De Jong and Pjanic start in that double pivot. And then as for the 4 attackers, I do expect to see Ansu Fati on the left, debuting his number 22 jersey number, which is going to be very exciting to see because he is officially a first team Barcelona player. Then in the middle, I do expect to see Messi play as the number 10, and on the right, I do expect to see a player like Trincao on the right wing, completely taking down every player that he does go up against. And then up top, our number 9 is going to be Antoine Griezmann. I do expect Koeman to give Griezmann another chance to play that number 9 role position. I know that I have talked about Ansu Fati being tested as the number 9, but I believe that that will come in time. Maybe not tomorrow, but hopefully maybe in the next game. And here are the key players that I believe is the most important in this match to really lock down this win, and that is Lenglet, who will be responsible to shut down players like Beko and Moreno. And then as for our key players in the attacking position, that would be Ansu Fati and Trincao. As I discussed earlier, I think that our wings is going to be key in this match to get us through this win and create us the most opportunities. As for our substitutions, I do expect to see Dembele, Felipe Coutinho, and hopefully, right, Riqui Puig and Araujo. I know that I have talked about these two players in my previous video. They are not registered as first team players. They will be getting non-first team numbers on their shirts, but that does not mean that they cannot play and participate in first team football, which is why I say that hopefully we get to see Riqui Puig and Araujo participate in this match. So many players are going to be debuting their jersey numbers. We're going to see many new players play their first La Liga match, and so it's going to be very, very exciting. There are so many reasons to look up for this match, and so because of that, because we have analyzed this game so well, and knowing that Barcelona have the weapons to lock down this game, my predicted scoreline is going to be 3-1. I do expect Villarreal to score at least 1 goal because I honestly do expect our defensive line to create some errors in this game. But I think that our attack is going to give us enough strength in order for us to get this win. And with tension being built within this club after seeing what Messi did state on Instagram and seeing that Suarez did leave with some type of tension with Bartomeu, and knowing that there is unrest overall in Catalonia. I think that the best way to aid a problem like that would be to get a very promising win in tomorrow's game. And so look, I am pumped. I am ready. I am ready to take on this season. I do expect this Barcelona team to be better than the Barcelona team in the previous season. Can this Barcelona team be able to compete against the teams like Bayern Munich or Manchester City? We don't know. It's way too early to tell, but I do expect us to be a better version in this upcoming season. And so if you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. I'm happy that you guys are here. This will be my first time documenting and analyzing a full season. And so again, I'm very excited. I am going to be posting a post-match review after the match is over, talking about what were the weaknesses that Barcelona showed, what were the strengths that Barcelona showed, and who were the standouts of this game. So I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.